It's Girli IRL, yeah. It's Girli IRL, IRL.
Hey, my name is Girli and welcome to Girli IRL Lockdown Edition. Today I'm super stoked to have Nadya from Pussy Riot on the show. I've been so inspired by this woman's activism through her music since Pussy Riot first came on the scene when I was a teenager. So although we are oceans apart through the beauty of technology, I'm gonna ask Nadya some questions today. I hope you enjoy. Nadya from Pussy Riot! Thank you so much for being on Girli IRL. I'm so excited that you're here. How are you doing today?
I'm good because I can speak to you, and also because we're planning a photo shoot with my friend. I'm excited about it. Yeah, so relatively speaking, for 2021, I feel like I'm good, and I'm really thankful to the universe for making it this way. What about you?
Hell yes. Yeah, well, I'm thankful to the universe for inventing the shirt that you're wearing because it's so cool. I love it so much. It's kind of giving me like Victorian, I don't know, like dominatrix vibes. It's very cool.
I love dominatrix vibes. And also it gives me, I like to play around with the idea of being alternative female president of Russia because our current president sucks. I think someone else should represent Russia, and maybe it doesn't have to be one figure, it can be different people. So I'm an alternative female president of Russia, and for this new year I was recording my speech to the nation, to all the people of Russia, of me being a president of Russia. I said the next year we're going to make all this queer reform, legalize same-sex partnerships and marriages in Russia, and actually I got an overwhelmingly great response.
I think I saw the video. You were like with the flag.
Yes, you saw it.
It was so good. Would you ever like actually consider going into politics, or do you think it's just like too toxic?
Well, it is toxic, but also on another hand, it's going to remain toxic if we don't choose to engage. I would say never. Legally speaking, I cannot be elected because I have a criminal record. So after 10 years, after the end of my prison term, I can be elected, technically, which will be 2023. So this is the first problem that I have on my way. I have to get over 10 years. The next problem is that we don't really have fair and free elections. We don't really have independent media. I think politics has to be diverse, and the more people with different opinions and the more progressive people are in politics, the better for the politics and the less toxic it will be. So I'm ready to serve and protect.
Hell yes. Oh my gosh, Nadya for Russian president. If I could vote, I would vote for you. Yeah.
So maybe me and you will be part of the world government. Or maybe my daughter will be, she's 12 years old. She's an activist. She's really, really politically aware. So maybe I will not have to do it. She'll do it for me.
Oh, that is so cool. I would love to have a little girl because I feel like girls are just so badass.
Absolutely. I mean, I was freaking out when I was pregnant. I didn't know the sex of my kid because I was like, I have no idea what I'm going to do if it's a boy. I can hardly imagine what I'm going to do with a kid in general because I was 18 years old at the time. But I knew that I can deal with a girl. A boy, I don't know.
I mean, like, what do I do with this? I have a dream that, like, if I have a little girl, she'll just become, like, the most badass rock chick, skater, black belt and everything.
Don't impose it on her because you get the opposite.
Yeah, then she'll, like, completely go against everything I want and be like, I'm going to vote for Trump. And be like, no! What 5 words would you use to describe yourself?
Punk. Adventure, girls, philosophy, art.
Hell yeah.
Would you live in my world?
I would live in your world. I'm really interested. It's a kind of word that a lot of people see differently. What does the word punk mean to you?
Fluidity. That's like, you definitely described it. For everyone, it has its own meaning, and that's the beauty of punk. And punk is something that's changing constantly. It never stays the same. I think punk is someone's ability to question everything in the world, including yourself and your position and your privileges. It's a mindfuck, I have to tell you. It's not an easy place to be because you never get to stay in one place. I mean, not geographically, but mentally. Because you have to challenge, you have to develop yourself. Practically speaking, it means like that today I'm going to write a pop song and tomorrow I'm going to write a metal song. And probably people from both camps, they're going to hate me for that because they'll feel betrayed. Oh, you're not a real punk. You're not a real that. You're not a real this. Constantly subverting everything, including your own position.
That is a sick definition.
I see young people, including my daughter, or some followers of Pussy Riot, who are 12, who are 15, who are 17, and they say that they became political activists because of Pussy Riot. I could not imagine it when we just started. I thought that we are going to remain freaks. It was really freakish at the time to be a feminist in Russia. And all of a sudden, I feel like I'm in the mainstream, and I'm like, holy shit, it feels amazing to be in this feminist mainstream.
Yeah, like Pussy Riot inspired me when I was a teenager. Am I correct in saying you identify as queer?
Yes.
Does being queer affect the art that you make? When did that infiltrate into your songs and your expression?
I think it started from the point where when I realized myself as a fully human being. I don't know exactly when it happened, but some teenage years I started to define myself and find my identity. So I learned about queer theory early on. It made sense to me. I loved the flexibility and freedom, fluidity that it allowed me to experience. So I started to feel myself and identify myself as a queer person since late teenage years, I'd say. And at the same time, I started to make art. So it was always coming together for me. Me being seriously interested in feminism and in queer theory and queer practice made me and my friends create Pussy Riot, because we realized that we cannot actually make a meaningful art group with men being around us. And it was not because we hated men or anything. It was just because of this bias that was so deep inside of everyone in Russia. So if you are a female person or a queer person, you stand together in an art group or a music band with male members, they would be ideologists, producers, managers, leaders, presidents, whatever. We wanted to build a non-hierarchical structure, which was not possible with this bias. So we were like, we just have to create all girls. We made an amendment, so it's not just all girls, but all queers and like all non-binary people. And it actually went really well.
It is so weird how I have so many friends who are women in bands, and men will come up to them, and maybe they have a friend who's a man helping them with merch or whatever, and they'll come up thinking that he like is the guitar player, and they're like, no, that's me, asking them if they know about their equipment or like just stupid stuff.
We were about to go on tour this March, and we had only girls in the band, and we were so excited about it because we were prepared to blow a lot of brains, because they would not have one person to who they can they come up to. If you travel with one man who maybe he's just a friend, maybe he doesn't even have like any role in the band, right? Like he doesn't even sell merch. People will still come to him.
Yeah, I know, literally.
In South America, we traveled 2 years ago, and not in all the places, but in some places, especially in rock clubs, where I feel like people who work there, they're still part of this macho male rock culture. And me and another member of Pussy Riot, we would roll into the club for the sound check, and they would be like, oh, who actually can talk to, and they would look for someone else. And they were like, oh, there was actually this Jacob guy. He was talking with me on email. And I was like, yeah, he's our assistant, but he's not traveling with us. Like he stayed back home. And they were like, yeah, but who we can talk to right now?
They like freak out.
That bitch.
Like the toxic masculinity is like so uncomfortable with all the women in the rooms.
Well, yeah, some of them, they would they would refuse to talk to me. They knew how to speak English. I knew that they know how to speak English, but they would refuse to speak English with me. And they would be like, oh, I don't understand. I don't understand what you say. And I was like, wow, this is just like beyond. Bye.
I bet it felt amazing to then play an awesome show and be like, you guys.
I like to growl, and like, sometimes I would growl on stage. Like, I don't know, sometimes I feel like I sing like with this voice, and sometimes I growl. And 80% of those men who didn't treat me seriously after I growl, they come to me and be like, wow, you actually know how to perform.
Whoa, you're sick. Like, yeah, bitch, I do. The thing I find really amazing is that I see a lot of my fans, like queer music fans, are from Russia. Russia has like such an amazing LGBTQ scene. Can you see in the future Russia going forward to being like more open and having more gay rights for people? Do you think that's changing, or do you think it will change?
I think Russia is not conservative. It's just a mythology created by the ruling class to maintain their power and their money. And so they have to come up with something as their ideology, and they came up with conservatism, which is not really true. You know, they're like Trump. They don't really have any set of beliefs. Like Trump doesn't care. He cares just about himself. Putin is the same in this sense. For that reason, Putin comes up with stuff like, you know, okay, so the hating of gay people will be our national agenda. And it sounds silly. Like, it's obvious that it doesn't work. Like your fucking national agenda. And it's silly for Russian people as well. But while most of the people do not treat it seriously, it still enables many haters. Every country has homophobes. It's not just Russia. It happens in England, in the United States. And as Trump enabled and validated with his terrible statements, many people who are homophobic, transphobic, Islamophobic, the same thing is happening with anti-LGBTQ laws in Russia. By legalizing hatred, the government says it's okay to beat people, it's okay to oppress people or kill people just because they have different sexual orientation than you have, or they look differently, or, you know, if it's a man and he wears a makeup, it's okay to beat him. So it wasn't always like this. In the 90s, it was completely different, and I was growing up in the 90s, and I was seeing all those amazing queer performers. So I think if we will be able to change our government, everything will fall into place. And we still have homophobes as every country. It's not like Russia is a paradise on Earth.
I've never been to Russia, but I would love to be able to go and see people being able to express themselves properly. Yeah, I would love to, honestly. I've wanted to play a show in Russia forever. I have like fans there.
It will be really important for them as well. I think you should come.
Once Corona is over, I'm on a plane. So we were talking about like being queer and making art, but I'm interested if you think that queer like relationships and breakups are different to heterosexual ones.
I feel like generally it's easier to find a relationship which exists outside of stereotypes when you are in a queer relationship, just because it doesn't bring with itself like all the heavy heritage of patriarchal culture. I did experience a lot of troubles with my relationships with cis males. They could be amazing people, and they would be my friends for a while, and then we just happened to fuck with them. Maybe it was not even a relationship, but I just happened to fuck with my cis male friend, and then I'll be blown away by the amount of stereotypes that he suddenly automatically apply on our interaction, which means that he would expect me to want to marry him, to have kids with him, to ask him to buy me lingerie or furry coats. And I'm like, I'm not interested in like any of this. And I was just like, I think he must be talking to someone else. There must be someone like here.
Is this?
That's not me, right? And I'm still the same person as I was yesterday when we did not fuck yet. I mean, queer relationships can go wrong as any other relationships, but generally it's easier and more free just because you don't have to deal with all this fucking bullshit patriarchal heritage.
Nadya for president. I have one more question for you. What are your top 3 tips for not giving a fuck? Anything that you shouldn't give a fuck about, basically.
First, I think it's important to make a list. What do you do give a fuck about? And everything that's not in this list, you just don't give a fuck about it. Is it okay?
That's perfect. I mean, that's the best advice ever. Usually when I did the episode in real life, like I took little Polaroids of my friends, but obviously Corona and we are far apart right now. Oh my God, the little shark! I love this. Okay, amazing. You ready? Perfect. What is the shark's name?
Sharky.
Sharky. I love it.
Oh.
Oh my God, incredible.
And also dinosaur. Okay, look. Here's a
Oh my God, it like falls. Oh, that's really cute. That's really... Oh, thank you so much. It was so nice to meet you over Zoom. Take care. Thanks for watching episode 3 of Girli IRL with Nadya from Pussy Riot. Make sure to go check this out as a podcast on all podcast streaming services. Also, if you enjoyed this, go check out my Instagram, Twitter, TikTok @girlymusic, and go check out my music on all streaming services. My new song, Passive Aggressive, is out right now. So go listen to it, only if you want to. Thanks for watching. Keep being rad. Thanks for watching Girli IRL. Subscribe to the audio podcast here so you never miss a podcast again.